Welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Today, I'm so excited for this episode. It's my education edition, and here to talk about the paralegal education and career is Provost Patricia Greer, JD, and she was recently named the new provost of Berkeley College as of August of 2023, as she is the college's chief academic officer and is responsible for the overall academic vision that will contribute to Berkeley College's future of excellence in career-focused education. Ms. Greer has been an exceptional leader and an advocate of the Berkeley College mission and with regards to the students for over 2 decades. Her proven record of achievement and engagement in higher education has allowed her to gain the respect of students, faculty, staff, and alums, and make her an outstanding fit for this role. And as she states, the roots of the paralegal profession can be traced to the late 1960s when Congress, law firms, local bar association, and the American Bar Association began significant efforts to increase access to legal services and reduce poverty in the United States. And my source for that is the Michigan State Bar and NALA. So, Ms. Patricia Greer, welcome.
Thank you so much, Linda. It's such my pleasure to be here with you.
Absolutely. And I don't know what do you prefer, Patricia, or do you prefer professor or
Patty,
provost?
Patty is fine.
Patty is fine. Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure. And if the audience is a bit confused, Miss Patricia, Patty, was one of my first professors at Berkeley College. And it's when I attended Berkeley and obtained my associate's degree in paralegal studies, which totally changed my life.
I know, we had so much fun back then. That was my first time teaching in New Jersey. I was previously at the New York City campus of Berkeley. And Linda, I think your class was one of my first classes that I had here. And I still keep in touch with several individuals from that time. And you've all been very successful, very passionate, and it's just amazing to still be in contact.
Yes, definitely. I can't believe how long it's been, and I don't want to age myself at all, but it's been a while.
It's been a bit. It's been a few decades. We're counting it in decades now. So
it's been a bit. It's been a while. I never once thought that going into the paralegal studies that it would continuously lead to further education, and that I would actually end up working in Wall Street as a paralegal. So it's been, again, like a full circle and a bit of a dream come true.
Amazing.
So I have some questions for you.
Sure. You know, lawyers love questions, right? They love to ask them.
Yes, absolutely. So why pursue a paralegal degree? And if someone's on the fence with regards to legal, why pursue a paralegal degree versus a law degree?
Well, I would say that any degree, first of all, you can go to law school with. So I really didn't realize that when I was in college. I mean, my majors were English and French. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be an English professor because I got a master's in English first before going to law school. But getting back to your question, I think a really valuable reason for pursuing a paralegal degree is that you can get out there and work as a paralegal while you're still considering possibly going to law school or making a career out of being a paralegal. I worked as a paralegal for 2 years before going to law school, and to me, it really gave me that frame of reference of knowing that I wanted to go to law school and also kind of having a leg up on some of my other classmates because I already knew how to do some practical types of exercises, like when we had civil procedure and classes like that. I already had experience with it. So I think a paralegal degree really just opens a lot of doors for you. And like I said, if you want to go to law school, you can with that degree. Or we have many students at Berkeley College that have even gotten associates in, now we call it legal studies, not paralegal studies. And then sometimes they'll get a bachelor's in business because they want to have the law and business background. And then they end up going on to law school. So there's a lot of different avenues you can take, really.
Absolutely. But also I want to state, this other option as well. And this happens to a lot of students, especially the students that aren't great test takers. They sit down for the LSAT and they just can't score a high enough score.
Mhm.
And they might feel like, oh, I always wanted to be an attorney, and now, like, I'm lost or whatnot. So you can still have a very fulfilling career as a paralegal, and you can actually become
Absolutely.
a high-end level paralegal where you're basically running the office
Totally.
or running the department. So for all those individuals who maybe the LSAT was not their thing and they didn't pass it, and it's not an easy test at all.
No.
This is a
Trust me, it's not an easy test.
You have to study multiple hours, about 20, 30 hours a week, if not more. So for
Yeah.
those folks as well, this is a wonderful way to be able to to be engaged in the legal field.
Or you can be the annoying person like my brother who decided to take the LSAT on a whim and scored in the top 1%. Because he's just one of those people that he says, well, when you take a standardized test, you don't have to know the right answer, you just have to know the wrong answers. Because if you eliminate the wrong answers, you get the right answer.
Yes.
Okay, but how
Yes.
do you know how to do that? Oh, it's just easy. So most people aren't like that. I had to study, like you said, the numerous hours, take the
Mhm.
review course, all that stuff. But absolutely, having a career as the paralegal, as you were saying, Linda, there are paralegals out there who have been working for law firms and other entities that have so much experience that they're actually training the associates when they
Mhm.
come in. They actually know more than the lawyers do about that particular area of law or how that office operates or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times they're actually training the attorneys. So that shows you the level they have gotten to, particularly areas like real estate.
Mhm.
I mean, a paralegal in a real estate firm who is really, really good, they're basically doing everything up until the closing.
Right.
And the attorney comes in, checks. Of course, the attorney always has to supervise paralegals' work, but they come in and a paralegal. I have a friend that she went into that line of work in her 50s and she has gotten really good at it in like 2 years and loves it. And, the attorney just trusts her so much because, she came from other backgrounds, had employment experience. But my point is, she found her niche, she found what she loves. So she's actually
Absolutely.
going back and she's going to take some paralegal courses now. So
Absolutely. And a friend of mine graduated with her paralegal degree, and she now works for the DOJ, the Department of Justice. And she's like,
amazing.
she pinches herself every time she takes the road to work, and she drives into Washington, D.C. to work there. So it's been for her, and she didn't know what she wanted to do. It was a change of career for her.
Yeah,
She
like this,
was
like my friend, total
uh-huh,
changing career.
she was a grade school teacher.
Wow.
That's what she was. And I said, if you can handle those grade school students, I'm sure you'll be fine with the attorneys.
Well, my friend worked for the city in like the tax assessor's office. And, it's been tough times and they were doing cuts. So she had to figure out, what she wanted to do. And she was kind of actually afraid to go and work at a law firm because she also had real estate experience working for like a broker's firm. And I said, they're not all mean, I promise you. Some
Mhm.
are nice. And she got referred by a friend. And she actually, like I said, she's been there a few years, loves this law firm. And she said the attorney is so nice. So, you never know where life's going to take you in terms of your career.
Absolutely. Um, so the next question is, how long does it take to become a paralegal?
So that's a really good question because I have a friend, her daughter just started working as a paralegal in November. She graduated from NYU with some type of political science degree, I think it was, and then she wanted to go to law school, then decided not now, wanted to become a paralegal. So she did a 4-year undergrad, non-paralegal related degree, but did find it very hard to get a job and is currently in a paralegal certificate program. And she did get trained by her firm, but to me, if you want to go that route and you want to be a paralegal, get the paralegal degree. I mean, some students will get a paralegal certificate. At Berkeley, we have a paralegal certificate that you can transfer your credits into a degree program. Because some people just want to explore. They're not sure if they want to actually pursue that. But I will be honest with you, Linda, in the Northeast, in the tri-state area, I'm located at Berkeley Woodland Park, about 20 miles outside of Manhattan. The firms are really asking for a bachelor's degree. When I
Mhm.
first started here at Berkeley and you were my student, an
Yeah.
associate's degree could cut it. But today, they're really looking for the bachelor's degree, or at least someone who has an associate's degree and is working on their bachelor's degree.
Yes.
So at Berkeley you can finish it in 3 years if you go, right around the year, the 3 semesters, but most schools it will take you, 4 years, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Should can you complete the program while working?
At Berkeley, yeah, most of our students are actually working full-time, part-time. So we have online classes. A lot of students do a mixture of online and on-site. Some students do all online classes. Again, when I was teaching you, like Berkeley actually started online classes in 1998. I started teaching in 99, which was really early for online. But for the working student, the online option really, really helps them. And because they don't have to commute, they don't have to do all those things. But absolutely, I would say the overwhelming majority of our students are actually working individuals. In fact, I was just looking at some stats the other day, and most of our students now are over the age of 25. So they
Wow.
are, not your traditional right out of high school type of student who sort of know what they want and are looking for that career, Yeah.
What type of person makes a good paralegal?
Oh, that's a good question. I could tell you who makes a bad paralegal. No, I'm kidding. Makes a good paralegal. When I went and worked as paralegal, I had no experience. I remember I was asked like day 2 to shepherdize some cases. I thought that meant going out in a field with, goats or something. Like I literally had no idea what they were talking about. And there's this woman named Karen. Of course, Karen has a bad connotation now to our friend.
Yeah.
She went to some kind of a paralegal institute in Philadelphia, and this woman knew everything. So she basically trained us. Every time we had a question, we asked Karen, and the firm didn't mind it because she was like an encyclopedia of knowledge. So I just like really picked up from what she did in those very early weeks, and she was just super organized. She always asked questions of attorneys if she didn't know what to do, even though she was experienced, instead of just like trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was very efficient, and they had like team leaders, and she was our team leader on a big litigation matter. And she just really made sure that everyone felt valuable and knew what they were doing, like knew what their role was. So I would say for a paralegal now, she was very experienced. So, but even an entry-level paralegal, like to be organized and to ask those questions if you don't know. Don't just waste time trying to figure something out. Be able to research and locate information efficiently. Make sure that you are, I always say, truthful about your billable hours if you're working for a law firm. You have to keep track of your time, and you really can't waste time. So you shouldn't be there like online shopping and doing, of course you have a break, that's different, but you have to really keep on track and stay focused. And like I said, just I think one of the most important things really is to ask a question if you don't understand what you're doing. And also, when you get some experience under your belt, be willing to mentor others, like this woman Karen was. If somebody has a question for you, be willing to take 5 minutes out and help them.
Yeah.
I just think those are all, and just build relationships with the other paralegals, the attorneys, depending on how big the law firm might be, and never sit there just doing nothing. There's always something you can be doing. And law firms, they look at that, they look at the people who are looking for more work, and just like, kind of like a go-getter. Like within 6 months of my being there, I was appointed a team leader to manage an entire case. So I just kind of was always looking for more. So just to really be organized though too, and time management, or just for any career, but particularly, as they say in law, time is money.
What type of jobs can a paralegal obtain?
A paralegal can really work in any area of law. In fact, in immigration law, they can actually appear on behalf of clients. I don't know the specific rules, but I do know that in immigration cases that is permitted. Obviously, a paralegal would have to have some experience to do that. But I would say to my students, like, what are you looking for work-life balance? Do you want that kind of fast-paced, you never know what's coming around the corner, type of work, like corporate transactional work, where, okay, you got to work through the night, 2 nights in a row to get this closing done, for this big bank? Or do you want more of that 9 to 5, real estate law, the closings are going to happen, wills, trusts, and estates, not an emergency? Or do you like doing investigation? Do you like going through files? Do you like figuring things out, like personal injury law? So or do you like family law? Do you like helping families and children? That's an emotional area. Again, I have so many students that want to go into that. They do an internship and they're like, not for me. So I always say to students, you kind of have to find the area of law that suits your personality, but don't be afraid to switch if you find either from an internship or you find from working in that area that it wasn't for you. Lots of students I've had have switched the areas they've worked in over time, and they've been happy about it.
Absolutely. And one thing that's great about the paralegal career, and I can state my testimony on this since, okay, it's been a while since I graduated, but now it's amazing because there's new branches, new fields of work for paralegals, such as you can now become a medical paralegal
Totally.
where you work for a health insurance company and you're going to learn your medical terms as well as your legal terms, and
Absolutely.
you're helping with regards to,
Totally.
cases. There's a lot of people that go into the working for the police department and actually
Yeah.
working for their local police department many times,
Right.
helping filling out reports. So it takes it
Yeah.
off the hands of certain police officers that really don't want to do that type of office work. I ended up working in construction for a while and working
Yeah.
under an engineer. And then from time to time, we'd get an attorney that supervised.
Yeah. I
So
mean, it's all, like I said, there's so many different areas. A lot of nurses actually we actually have a legal nurse consultant certificate at Berkeley, and you basically have to have, I think it's 5, but even 10 years experience would be better from the nursing perspective. And then they become a legal nurse consultant where they actually consult, like you said, on medical mal cases and medical mal-defense cases. And they've got that medical background, that nursing background. So they, like you said, they know the terminology, they know the procedures, they know the processes. And then they layer on the legal part of it. And, a lot of times when they don't want to be on the floor of the hospital anymore and things like that. Or maybe they always had an interest in the law too, and they do quite well.
what what are the
I have to
benefits?
say.
What are the benefits of obtaining an education at Berkeley College?
One thing I would say about Berkeley is, and I think you'll find this in most programs, but all of our professors, our attorneys, a lot still practice. So, they're adjuncts. They only have time to teach part-time because they're still actively practicing. But many of them also have many years of experience and don't currently practice, but they bring that experience into the classroom. So I think that's a huge bonus. I also think that our advisory board, we have an amazing advisory board. I just had an email before this podcast about the next advisory board meeting who really help us. And also our career services department really helps our students get out there. Like I just got an email from Chubb today and they're looking for paralegals. I'm not the chair anymore, but I was forwarded to the chair. But there's just a lot of opportunities that Berkeley can put students in touch with. And also, just the students getting to know each other at Berkeley. I always say to them, use students as your resources. Sometimes another student might know about a job opening. Maybe they're working somewhere, they're looking for someone. So it's just a very, very friendly type of college. And I think it really prepares students well to go out into the workforce because we don't waste time on the stuff that's not important, I guess you would say. Between the gen ed courses, the major courses and legal studies, the students are getting really a sound education. It's a tough program, I gotta say.
It is, and it
It's not
was.
easy.
And I think it prepared me for what I'm doing now currently. So it's good though. And always and when you start a program, just finish it, hang in there.
That's what
Uh
I say to the students, absolutely. And I forgot to say, we also have the Pre-Law Advisory Center, which is administered through the Legal Studies program. We have a director and Professor Bansley, who's been at Berkeley for a while. She helps students with other professors who assist her as well with every step of the law school application process. So that's also a nice benefit from the school.
Absolutely. Um, so my next question is, can a paralegal be a paralegal anywhere in the world?
That's funny because we were just talking about that today at a meeting and saying that we've had attorneys from other countries come to Berkeley who cannot practice in this country, but who want to become paralegals because of their education and things like that. I don't know if you can do that specifically. I would imagine you would have to probably take some coursework in the other country, but if you wanted to become an attorney here, there are like LLM programs where you could apply the credits you have and then take these additional courses to become an attorney. So because paralegals are not licensed in the US, they would never carry like a license with them out of the country. But you know, I mean, for example, we had a legal studies student that she did an internship in Torino, Italy, and they actually offered her a position. I mean, she came back to the US, she wanted to stay here, but I'm assuming if she could have gotten the right visas, like she could have worked there, you know? So I'm not saying it's impossible. But like I said, since paralegals aren't licensed, they do not take that license with them.
No, they don't, but actually, they can be because I have a colleague that worked in New York, and I worked in New York for Wall Street company, and then
Mhm.
asked for a transferred to London
Yeah,
to
that I can
England.
see. Like
So,
if
yeah,
you're working, like I worked for Sherman and Sterling and they had offices all over the world. Definitely, if you were in an American, New York, DC, whatever based law firm, and you want to go to another office in another country, they can definitely make that happen for you. Yeah.
absolutely. And it's really interesting now because there's um so much more work remotely.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of remote work for paralegals,
totally.
which is really great.
Yeah, even hybrid. Like my daughter doesn't do legal work. She works for a wellness company that provides corporate wellness solutions. She just started like a month or so ago. And she thought she wanted to work totally remote. The company's 5 minutes from where she lives, and she's actually found the hybrid model to be better of going in like 2, 3 days a week, seeing people. Because sometimes the fully remote gets a little, for me anyway, it gets a little lonely. But I know some
Yes.
people really like it, so it just depends on you, you know.
Definitely. So we're getting towards the end of the podcast. Do you have a message for the audience?
My message would be, as Linda said, never give up. As I had a sort of a similar event with students last night. It was like a chat, session. And some of the students say, oh, sometimes I feel discouraged. And I said, listen, I said, when I was in college, I took economics. I got a C- in it. And of course, I was convinced it was all the professor's fault. So I had good grades. Other than that, I took it again. I got a C plus. And I just realized economics was not something I was good at, quite
Right.
obviously. So my point is, don't let the little hurdles get you down. Just keep moving. You're not even going to think of a bad grade or something that happened, a couple of years from now. So just keep your eye on your ultimate goal and just keep trying to reach it. And like I said, don't let those stumbling blocks take you down. Just use them to get back up and say, okay, I'm going to do better the next time. So I think it really applies to everything, not just paralegal or law. I just think in general you have to, as Linda says, start what you finish. Finish
Yeah.
what you start and start what you finish. Just
Oh,
finish. Just finish. Just do. Yeah, just keep going, and
Mhm.
finishing something, you get a great sense of accomplishment from that. So that's what I
Absolutely.
say to do.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast
You're
today.
welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let me stop recording.
Okay.